Now, what some people are doing is, those bad people, now they go around they go to people's houses and they steal stuff, letters from their mailboxes. Now, the main aim is to try to see whether a letter might contain, like someone's personal information. And so, one advice, if you think you can get a lock or something like that for your mailbox, please do. If you cannot, make sure you are always at the receiving end whenever you're due to receive a mail. Early in the morning, go check it out. If you're not even at home and there's someone there, make sure you let the person check it out for you. Or you can have cameras around, that can, in a way, deter people from doing that. Because that is one way bad people are using in, stealing people's personal information. Imagine you've applied for Social Security and you've been mailed a Social Security card, and a bad person, get access to that. You're doomed, because the person has a Social Security number and the person can identify him or herself as you. Of course, it might not be physically, but over the internet, because the person might have your name, the date of birth, your Social Security number. The person can do anything he or she want to do against you. Now, dumpster diving. What is dumpster diving? Now, let's say you want to clean your house, right, or your room, and you have papers you want to throw out. Before you throw any document out, please be careful. Make sure all the information on that document does not contain any personal sensitive information. Don't just take papers and throw them away thinking it's going to the dustbin and that's it. Let me tell you something. Some bad people are going around dustbins and they're looking for sensitive information. So in cybersecurity, information security, we call it dumpster diving. They will go to your dustbin, scrutinize everything you've thrown away, and they just want to get papers, especially when it comes to banks and organizations. Your dustbins, please, before you throw any document away, if possible, just shred it. That's the best way. Shred it. Don't just tear it and think you're safe. No, they have time. They can just put the pieces together and get any information they want to get. So the best way, shred. If you don't have a shredder at home, just burn it. Make sure you burn it into ashes. It's better than to just throw it in the dustbin. Someone is watching. Now, purse or wallet snatching. Now, this is something the bad people are also doing, especially when you are in an overcrowded area. Especially my people in Ghana, Ketia, places like that. Trust me, someone can just snatch your ID, your wallet. Here in the States, make sure when you're going out, you hold your you hold your wallet well. Make sure you keep it at a safe place. Even if it's in your bag, make sure where you've placed it is really safe and it's not at a place someone can easily get access to. Now, one thing I also want to say is, if it's not really necessary for you to carry documents like Social Security card, please leave it at home. Don't just go about carrying your Social Security. That information is really sensitive. If it falls in the wrong hands, you're doomed. Now, for ID cards, I know, for example, here in the United States, you always need to have your ID cards around you because wherever you go, you need to be identified, right? With that, make sure the wallet is secured. That's all I want to say. Right. Now, beware of internet fraud. Now, phishing. Sometimes you receive an email and the email will request that you enter some personal information. Please, if it's not something you have started with, if you're not familiar with it, just ignore the email. If possible, just report as phishing or just delete it. Delete it. Sometimes, they'll add a link to the email and they'll tell you to click on the link. Please, I'm pleading. If you do not know anything about that email, if it's not something you've warranted, please ignore it. Don't believe when someone sends you an email and tells you you've won $20,000, $40,000 when you know you've not worked you've not done anything to deserve that. Don't fall victim to these scams. Anything that tells you to enter any personal information, if you don't know anything about that, ignore it. Make it so hard, so difficult for even just your name or your date of birth to easily be given out to someone else. Now, sometimes they will send a message to your phone. When you get anything like that, whether on your phone, like email or through normal message or even a phone call, make sure if you have to give out any information, you know whom you're giving the information out to. My advice, if possible, don't give personal information over the phone. If you can walk to, be it a bank or wherever, just go there. Or let's say, sometimes when you call the bank and you want to ask questions, you need inquiries about your account, then they're gonna ask you for some personal information. If you're in a crowd, be careful, right? Make sure if you have to give such information over the phone, your environment is safe. Now, let me also talk about shoulder surfing. I've made a video on that. Now, when we say shoulder surfing, let's say you're in the bus. You have people, the bus is mostly crowded. Whenever you enter on the phone, please make sure no one is watching. How can you be sure? If possible, just get a privacy screen protector so that nobody sees what you're doing on your phone. Because this is what some people are doing. They intentionally board buses, trains, then especially when it's really crowded. And in this modern world, when you board a plane, a bus, trains, you see everybody on their phones. Now, they'll have their phone and they'll be recording whatever you do. Fine, you might make an argument. Well, when they record, I still have my phone. But let's say you're entering the sensitive information. When they record it, they'll get access to the information, right? So whenever you have to use your phone in the public, make sure there's nobody around you. Make sure the surrounding is safe enough. Now, you also have to guard your debit cards, credit cards. Don't try to purchase something online, and sometimes the person will be like, sometimes when you want to make a payment or something, they'll tell you to give them your credit card details. It's dangerous. Personally, I remember I was making a payment and the person was like, can I have your debit card details? This is dangerous. Why would you share your debit card details over the phone, even if the person is legitimate? Please. Now, those bad actors have a way of intercepting calls, especially when they find themselves on the same network as you are. So please be careful. When you're purchasing something online, make sure the site you are entering your card details is a legitimate site. Be careful. Now, one trick, one hint, right? Go online and search for how to detect whether a website is fake or not. Do that, and it's gonna help you a lot. Because what the bad actors are doing is now they are finding ways to clone a website, a legitimate website. So you have a website that looks just like an original website. For example, let's say Amazon or a legitimate website like Temu, you can have a bad actor cloning a site like that, and then with the same colors, they might provide it as if it's an original one, but it might not be. So you have to be careful whenever you're entering a site. When you are creating an account online, read the privacy policy of that particular organization. Read how they intend to use the information they are requesting. Mostly when you're creating an account, they ask you for your full name, your date of birth, your address, etc. Make sure the site you're presenting those sensitive information is a legitimate site. Please, I'm really pleading, because through that, many people have fallen victim to identity theft. So be vigilant. Now, I want to talk about one thing, and that's scamming. This is really a dangerous thing right now, and that is bad actors on various ATM cards. Now, they insert, the slot where you have to insert a debit card. They have a device, right? They will insert that device in that slot. Now, this is what happens. The moment you slip in your debit card, the device they've inserted in the ATM will be able to read and record everything, every information on the debit card. Now, once it records, it's being sent to their bad actors. Now, this is what they do. When they receive the information on the debit card, they will clone your debit card. They will make an exact copy of the debit card you have. Yes, you might make an argument and say, even if they have the debit card details, they wouldn't have my 4-pin. This is what they are also doing. On the keypad, where you have to enter your 4-pin, they have something called the keypad overlay, right? So when you enter the 4-pin, they'll be able to detect all the 4 pins you are entering. So you see, now the world is dangerous, trust me. So you don't, whatever you do, you have to stay protected. You have to be careful. You have to be vigilant. Have that security mindset. Ask yourself, what if this is not the real thing? In everything you do, especially over the internet, ask yourself that question. What if this is not the real thing? Because the moment you start thinking that way, you won't rush into creating accounts and doing all those stuff. No, you be careful with what you do over the internet. Avoid public Wi-Fi. I've made a video on that. Don't compromise on that, please. Because one thing you guys do not know is, as a cybersecurity person, right, there are tools. If I'm on the same network as you are, whatever you do on the internet, if like a bad person wants to harm you, the person will be able to read and intercept everything you do. It's really easy to do that. So if you connect to a Wi-Fi that has been created by a bad actor, a cyber criminal, then whatever you do over the internet, over that network, they will see it. Even, let me tell you, even if you share a PDF file, a picture, there is a way they can see all that using that tool. I'll demonstrate something like that for you guys to see, but it's really easy. So avoid public Wi-Fi, especially don't just go about at the airport. Don't connect to any free, Wi-Fi. No, just if you have to, ask them what is the most secured Wi-Fi here. I'm sure at the information centers they're gonna tell you. Don't just connect to any public Wi-Fi and try to log into your bank account. The moment you log into, they've captured your details. They've captured your account, your username. They've captured your password. From there, trust me, they'll drain your account. So be very careful. Now, for you, when you're creating any account online, make sure you're using a complicated password. At least it should be 9 characters or more. It should have lowercase, it should have an uppercase, it should have a number, it should have a special, character like an at sign, dollar sign, any sign at all. Just scramble it. Make sure it's I know sometimes it's difficult to remember, but at least, prepare something that is secure, because it will be much more dangerous and the impact will be really, really bad should someone get access to your bank account details. Imagine what's going to happen to you, right? So you don't want to compromise on that. So these are some of the few things you can do to protect yourself. Don't easily let out your personal information. Don't. Stay secure all the time. Don't share it. What you post over the internet, be very careful. Someone is watching. Don't always just accept and approve requests from friends over like Facebook, Instagram, and all that. Because some people use other people's faces, their names, their identity, and then they pose as themselves, right? Through this, many people, they've fallen victim and they've ended up giving out monies, right? So be very careful, and I'm actually hoping I've really made sense today, and that you be careful henceforth when you're supposed to provide any information. Now, quickly, I want to go through ways you'll be able to detect in case someone is using your identity. The first thing is, when you check your bank account transactions and you realize there are some transactions you're not familiar with, don't sit down. Go to the bank, report to the bank, let them know the transactions you're seeing, you don't have anything to do with it. Every bank has a fraud department and they have procedures they will go through in trying to help in rectifying that. So whenever you detect any kind of transaction you are not familiar, you did not do, then please, you not perform that, go to the bank, ask for their help, and they're gonna help, because it could be someone is using your personal identity, or someone has access to your debit cards information, the person is using that. Yeah, so that's one thing. Now, the second thing, when let's say you receive calls from banks, you receive calls from organizations, from loan organizations, and they tell you your loan is due to pay, and you don't know anything about that. When you receive calls that mails, people are telling you owe them and all that, don't just think this is just a spam. It could be true. Of course, you were not the person who went for the loan, but someone might have gone for the loan in your name. How would you know? So whenever you receive a request like that, please walk to the bank or go to the organization, sit down with them, explain things to them. Make sure you're able to identify whether someone indeed has a loan in your name, so they can help straighten things up for you. So basically, let's say you're always receiving your bank statement, or you're always expecting like a recurring mail that's been sent to you. Then all of a sudden, you're not receiving that mails again. Please, don't just sit and lament. Take action. If it's a bank statement, go to the bank. Ask them, are you guys still sending out my statement? If they tell you yes, we are, then that's a cause of alarm. Because it could be someone has found a way to be diverting your mail letters to themselves. Or it comes to your mailbox, they come in and they get it. When you see such stuff happening to you, then it could be that someone is using your identity to do all that. Right. Now, last thing, when you go to banks and let's say you want to apply for a loan or you want to open an account, the bank take your personal information, they go through the check systems. That's a centralized system. When someone commits a crime, your name will be there. right? So when the bank tries to do the check system, it's gonna show whether you're someone they can open an account for or not, or someone they can give a loan or not, right? Now, whenever like you visit a bank, you know you're clean as an individual. You've not engaged in any illegal or fraud stuff. But you go to the bank and they tell you, I'm sorry, we cannot open an account for you because you have issues with this bank, you frauded this bank. There and then, please know someone is using your identity. Report to the respective bodies or organizations. For example, here in the US, there's a body called FTC, that's Federal Trade Commission. They help in identity theft. So whenever you feel someone is using your identity, just give them a call. Right. I'm just gonna end here. I'm hoping I've really made sense today, and I've given you a reason why you have to be the policeman or the policewoman of your own personal information. Zip your mouth, your hands. Make sure you lock your hands. If it's possible, make it so difficult when releasing information like that. And trust me, it'll go a long way to protect you, protect me, and your reputation. All right. So thank you very much for watching this video. This is really important. Kindly share the video so that together we can we can create this awareness. Now, something little in Ghana, if you receive a call from someone and the person tells you they've sent money to your mobile money. Of course, sometimes you receive a message that shows you've received funds like that. Please, before you decide to send any money to the person, hang up the call, check your balance, make sure there isn't any added money to it. Because sometimes the way they will speak to you is as if they're in trouble, they've mistakenly sent money. And a typical Ghanaian is kind and wouldn't want to cause any harm to anybody. And so you'll be forced to rush and then send the money back because you've received a message that shows, you've received an amount like that. But sometimes they have a way of just drafting that message and it will come to you as if it's from MTN. So you have to be careful when you go to especially the old people, or even not only the old people. When you go to a mobile money vendor and the person wants asking for your 4 PIN, they have no business knowing what your 4 PIN is. Don't give it out, right? So that'll be all. Thank you very much, and I'm gonna make more videos on identity theft and also ways we can protect ourselves over the internet. So thank you very much, and kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, share, so together we can stay secured over the internet. Thanks for your support. Talk to you later. Bye.